Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andrew Seegers, and this time we're joined by Derek Bender and Colin McIsaac from Gamnesia to discuss all the Smash Bros. News coming out from Japan. So let's get started. Alright guys, so as most people predicted, Smash Bros. Leaked out early in Japan, like from some retailers. So a couple, or at least one person has been streaming this on Twitch, and we're finding out all kinds of things about this game. Now, the biggest thing to take from this is that it's basically confirming the leak, which I think we all suspected to be true. So we've seen like Duck Hunt Dog, we've seen Bowser Jr., we've seen the Koopalings, which is all awesome to me. Now, Colin, you've been up for like 13 hours straight covering all of this, right?
Yes. Yeah, so it's basically, it started about 13 hours ago. The retailers in Japan broke this street date by about a day, and so people from Japan have been streaming it on Twitch, and from the very first, the starting roster, the first couple character unlocks, and we're at the point now where one streamer, I think, only has one more character to go, and it looks like all the stagers are there. As far as we can tell, it's pretty much the full game is right here.
Right.
So
that's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll just go over some of the biggest things to come out from this. And one is that Duck Hunt Dog is in fact a character. We see his moveset, which, relies on the birds, and also, surprisingly, Wild Gunman.
And Hogan's Alley.
There are a lot of references to those, light gun games from the NES. Even in his, special moves and some of his standard moves, they're not based all entirely around Duck Hunt, but around sort of the entire light gun sort of canon, for lack of a better word.
That's awesome to me, just because, I never owned a Wild Gunman as a kid, but I played the hell out of Hogan's Alley, and just seeing that little can go across and seeing it explode and stuff, I'm like, yes, I want to play him. He looks awesome. That Duck Hunt, the duck looks adorable.
Right.
It's just hitting all the right buttons for me. I want that character, play that character so bad.
Yeah, the ducks being the recovery, it's all great. Even the final smash, ties into the Wild Gunman thing again.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
what it basically is like it's like a showdown between the Wild Gunman gang and the Hogan's Alley gang, and the opponents of Duck Hunt Dog, the guys you're fighting, are caught in the crossfire of this street brawl. And then when they're done, a bunch of ducks fly out, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that is freaking
That
great.
is amazing.
And speaking of amazing, Bowser Jr. too, we're seeing, from the leak again, it's all confirmed he's in the clown car, and you can choose different Koopalings instead of him. And based on what we've seen so far, I think he also or they as well as a group look awesome. With how many attacks, how many different things the clown car can do, with its different fists. I think there was one attack where they turn into drills, basically.
Yeah. No, I think we were saying this beforehand, where I think both of us, especially you and me, Andre, we wouldn't have cared less about Bowser Jr. if he was outside the clown car.
Right. By
putting him in that clown car, it makes him feel really different, and there's a lot of really clever stuff they can do with him. And for people who wanted him to play more like his, Mario Sunshine incarnation, where he had the paintbrush and everything, that is there. That is his final smash, where he does a little X across the screen that it damages everybody that hits it. So it's almost like the X-Bomb from Kid Icarus. Mm-hmm. And it really, again, it just works. I'm really liking how it plays, and it's why I didn't want to go with the leaks when I first revealed, because I didn't know anything about them. Mm-hmm. Seeing them in action, seeing how these guys play, makes me much more excited for them.
Yeah, absolutely. If you had told me a year ago that Bowser Jr. would be playable in the clown car, I would have been pretty skeptical. But seeing it actually in action, it works. It looks like a lot of fun, and they got really creative with the moves, and none of them seem like a stretch to me. They all seem like perfectly legitimate additions to, the Smash Bros. Just the pool of moves and playstyles, and it's weird. It's still a little weird to think that he's doing all this from inside a vehicle, but it works. It looks great.
Yeah, it totally does. I'm digging everything we've seen from these new characters. It really makes me want to play as them, especially Duck Hunt Dog. But now something else, we found out, about, it confirms more returning characters from the previous Smash Brothers games. Of course, Mr. Game & Watch is back. Thank God, because he's my main, or at least was my main. Duck Hunt Dog might have to take over. Tons of other characters, Wario, several others. But then we also get the return of some clones, like Dr. Mario. But we found out, right, Colin, that they have their classic moveset from Melee,
yes,
right?
So Dr. Mario has his Melee moveset, which means complete with the Mario Tornado, which, classic Mario Smash fans are going to love. And Dark Pit has I didn't see this in action, but I heard from a lot of people on NeoGAF and in the Twitch chats that Dark Pit's side B and down B are basically just pits from Brawl. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like people, with the exception of Bowser, all the people whose mains had significant changes to their movesets, it sounds like these clone characters are being introduced so that the people who enjoyed playing as these characters in older games won't feel alienated when Smash 3D and Wii U are introduced and have these changes with their players.
And that's why again, another reason why I wanted to wait and see and get official confirmation from Sakurai when these leaks were coming out with just pictures, because seeing them just straight up is not really does much. You immediately expect the worst, where you just expect them to be exact copies with just a various stat changes or whatever. Kind of like Lucina, but I'm willing to forgive Lucina just because she is a brand new character. She's not it's nice to have that female representation from Fire Emblem.
She's not a character whose Japanese name is literally just a color and then the character.
Exactly. So seeing Dr. Mario have his classic moves, people who again just do not like Flood as part of Mario, they can switch to Dr. Mario, and he actually gets his own kind of unique final smash where he sends out pills instead of Mario's fire. That's awesome. I mean, there's some stuff here that I really enjoy, and I honestly think this might be one of the... Actually, no, this is probably the best roster we've ever had for Smash.
I mean, with 49 characters, how could you argue?
Yeah, there also is that. Yeah, there's also the fact that it encompasses most of the roster of the previous Smash Brothers games. So,
no ice climbers, though. No.
Yeah, I know. That is a shame. Hopefully DLC. So I mean, for me, Dr. Mario, I'm kind of principally, I'm opposed to on principle, just because he is literally Mario, just wearing a doctor's outfit. But with that said, they've probably done the best job they could have with him by actually making him play uniquely, more so,
right?
Than they did in Melee. So, and I do like his outfit. I just kind of wish he were maybe just a skin or something, but whatever, it's cool. Moving on, we found out a little bit more about some of the stages. Like the Picto Chat stage now isn't just ripped directly from Brawl. Instead, it has some new designs that appear. But more importantly, I think we got to see the F-Zero, the classic F-Zero arena in action, and I think that level looks amazing. Where basically it looks, it's got the old Mode 7 graphics of F-Zero. And you can actually, there's a couple platforms that hover around. You can also ride on the cars below, and different cars will show up at points and they'll knock each other out. I just love the look of that stage. I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think it looks great. And it feels to me kind of like it'll play a lot like the past F-Zero stages, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I really liked Mute City and Port Town Aerodive, but it does have that retro aesthetic, which I think is really nice. And I don't know that I'll love playing on it, but I at least love that it exists.
I'm pretty much in total agreement there. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
Bringing back that classic NES look and playing through it. That looks really great. I don't know, watching the little bit that I saw on the stream, it doesn't impress me much as a stage in itself. I can't exactly explain why. It's just oh, okay, that's great, but the look of it is awesome. But that, of course, the opinions can change as soon as you actually start playing on it. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought it looked awesome, and I actually wish they had more classic style stages like that. But so many of the stages are based on either a really recent game or one of the 3D games, like a 64 on. I just love the very classic look and how it contrasts with the 3D characters.
Right. Well, speaking of which, one of the best looking stages in my opinion in the game, we actually got a much better look at with these leaks or streams rather, is the Dreamland Stage, which we saw in the picture of the day as a Game Boy stage, but in the actual game, what it is it's a sort of collection of Kirby's Dreamland arenas. So it starts out scrolling through green greens, and then it brings you into Mount Dedede, and then it takes you into Dedede's like boxing ring from the final boss fight of the original Kirby's Dreamland, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. Like you said, just the way that it contrasts with the 3D characters, but within the retro aesthetic.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually, but I actually haven't been able to see footage of that yet.
Yeah, it looks really good.
So it doesn't switch between games, then? It's all just Kirby's Dreamland and just go stage
It
to
looks
stage?
like it.
Okay.
I don't think it will. I don't think it'll switch between games, but we don't.
That's still really cool. But you know, it's, a part of me, just because when we first saw that, we were beating ideas back and forth about what kind of games could show up. So it's a little disappointing, but it makes sense for it to be Kirby's Dreamland. It's sort of like a send up to, you know, Sakurai's, I assume, first game, or at least one of his first well-known game. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really want to see it now because, you know, classic Game Boy stage. How can you not like that?
Right. Now, another stage we gotta find out more about is Magicant from being the dream world from Earthbound, and we can see it takes place like up in the clouds. There's several cloud platforms. And in the background you'll see scenes from like Earthbound happening, and I think like visually this stage is like a looker. Like it looks really cool. I'm not entirely sure how it'll play. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on this one?
So I've actually seen a lot of Magicant in action from these streams, and it looks a little bit like it might be a little bit too hectic, but nonetheless it looks, I mean, absolutely awesome. It's by far my favorite stage that I've seen in Smash 3D so far. And so basically what it is, you have a couple of platforms, you know, it's all pink. But so in the background, yeah, you have these sort of almost like dimensional rifts that behind them display scenes from Mother and Earthbound. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen Mother 3 yet. I'm a pretty big Mother 3 fan, so I'm hoping we get some of that, but you never know. So it has that sort of dimensional rift, and it has other elements from Earthbound coming into it. Like there's this big tree. I forget exactly what it was called, like the rowdy oak, or like the frustrated oak, or something like that. And this gigantic version of those little like sprout enemies from early on in the game, like the Ramblin' Sprouts or something like that. And it also has the octopus statue, which is actually only in Mother 2, not in Earthbound. It was changed to like a pencil statue. That pops up from time to time as like a new platform you can stand on. It's just overall a very dynamic stage. And then there's even the Flying Man from Earthbound will show up as sort of this weird combination of a stage boss and an assist trophy. If you go up like to the Magic Man, the first person that interacts with him will basically sort of recruit him to their side, and he'll basically function as an assist trophy for them. But he can still be attacked. He basically looks like just another player in the game. He looks like he has a pretty diverse moveset, and he takes hits and hits others pretty much exactly like another playable character would. So that's why it's kind of it's really novel and a little bit confusing, but also really exciting.
I played a little bit of Earthbound, but never enough to get to Magicant, but I like the look of it. I like the idea that they're showing gameplay of the actual game in the background, which might even interest new players. There's a lot of stuff you can do with that, and just visually it stands out so much from all the others. I mean, whether it's using classic aesthetics or not, it just, you don't see many just pure pink stages. I mean, that's something that's going to stand out, and it might become a big favorite for a lot of people. I just really enjoy it.
So, Colin, I know you're running out of time here, so is there any other thing you want to mention that you take away from this leak, like any other big news or things that left a lasting impression on you?
Not off the top of my head. The last sort of thing that I'm thinking of is the palette swaps just that we've seen from both the starting characters and the unlockable characters look really cool. Like the Duck Hunt dog, basically his whole palette swaps are like different breeds of dogs. Like there's a Great Dane color, and there's like a Dalmatian color, and there's even one that looks to me a little bit like Banjo-Kazooie, which is kind of neat because the dog's carrying the duck on his back, and it feels like a nice little nod to Nintendo's past.
That's kind of awesome. It kind of makes sense because I saw that the Duck Hunt Dog's native stage is the Nintendog stage, which makes a lot of sense because really he's the original Nintendog.
That is pretty clever. Although I was disappointed that he didn't get his own stage based on Duck Hunt, especially with how awesome that Zero one looked. But with that said, that's a pretty clever connection.
Maybe in the Wii U version, I can see that. Happening.
That's true. Actually,
fingers crossed.
Oh, maybe. Hope's back. Yes.
Duck Hunt was a home console game.
All right. Anything else you guys want to mention at all before we wrap it up here?
I just, I think this is really the game's just looking really good. But I think at this point I'm going to just sort of step away from all the information that's coming out. I know the characters. That's all I care about. I want to experience the rest of the game for myself. So I'm just I think I'm just going to step away for a little bit.
Well, you're literally stepping away in a few days to go on vacation. So
true.
My only last thoughts are just it's kind of too bad for fans of Wolf, Squirtle, Ivysaur, Lucas, Ice Climbers, because from what we've seen from this, especially from trophies that disconfirm certain characters, I mean, they're gone. And unless they're added back with DLC, it doesn't look like we're really going to get anything from them, which is really too bad. I know Wolf and Lucas were two of my mains in Brawl, so that's kind of a tough blow. I'll get over it.
That's a little bit harsh, but maybe DLC, who knows, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that wraps up for our Smash Brothers discussion, so thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. It's a good way to keep up to date on everything we post. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain.com for more Smash Brothers Wii U and 3DS and other things gaming as well as Gamnesia, who's been doing a great job keeping up on all these streams. Who else stays up for 13 hours straight to cover this, right, Colin?
Thankfully, nobody.
All right, thanks guys. Bye.